Forgot to record. Okay, sorry, we're just talking about boundaries and pushback and what boundaries were created last week. And Holly's just going to share about the boundary that she put in place.
So a couple of months ago, when they first moved in, they asked if their family could come and stay, and I wasn't comfortable with strangers coming and staying in the house, even though they're their family, but they're strangers to me. And there was multiple reasons why not. So I said that I wasn't okay with that, but they were more than welcome to come and visit. And then last week they asked again, but for more days this time. And so I told them that nothing had changed on my end. And then they wanted to negotiate that and were saying that, like, well, the other flatmate has her boyfriend come and stay, but her boyfriend used to live here, like, because we live in a huge house. Um, yeah. And then it was just really awkward. And then they're like, well, we should be able to negotiate this because it's family. And then, yeah, I just stood firm in my boundary, but then my car got messed with.
So how did you feel, honey, when you were setting these boundaries? How did you feel? Did you feel like it was the right thing to do for you? You felt in your body that it was that this is what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
did any time you feel uncomfortable when they came back to try and push against it?
I did. I felt a bit angry.
Yeah. Okay. And what
Yeah.
did you do with that anger? How did it come out?
I sort of sat with it for a while and then I just grounded myself and um, came back with like a reasonable explanation again, explaining why again. And then, yeah, so I guess I communicated it.
Yeah.
And then I also told them that I didn't appreciate them pushing back on the boundary. Yeah.
Did you feel that you were being unreasonable at any time during any of that conversation?
I wondered if I was, like, my head went to, oh, should I apologize for me feeling this way? And then it was like, no. And then I went to, should I just let them? And then it was like, no, that's not right for my body and what I'm feeling.
Right.
But it
Right.
was it was quite funny watching like the backwards and forwards of my head going, okay, do I need to apologize for laying down my boundaries? And then
Because that's what you would normally do, right? Would that be something that you would do in the past, that you would apologize and not follow through with the boundary?
maybe I think the other side of life I would have been like, if you don't like it, go away, get out. But now I'm in this grounded place of like trying to be um what's the word, like not trying to be too harsh but
So
also
you
trying not to people
you're
please. Yeah.
Yeah, the beautiful thing is you have empathy, right? So you actually have
Yeah.
compassion for them, and you're actually wondering whether there is a way that you can make it work. So you are changing in terms of, because boundaries doesn't mean that you have to be a hard person and you have to go, fuck off, I'm not interested in seeing
Yeah.
what you know what? You actually can see, you want to be able to honor your own boundary, but you
Mhm.
also want to be able to see if you can find a solution for them, right? And so that's what
Yeah.
you were feeling. You were feeling that, oh, maybe I need to kind of look into this more around how we can find a solution around it. So if that ever comes up for you, just sit with it and say, okay, how can I make this work without actually stepping over your boundary? And it sounds
Mm.
to me like you did that. Was there a solution that you came up with for them, or was it just that you were saying, no, this is what I want?
No, but I just said that they're more than welcome to come, but just staying overnight is not okay with me. Yeah.
So that was your solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you were still meeting them. You were still trying to meet them. So the thing is here, this is great, Holly, because you were listening to everything that your body was telling you. You were listening the whole way through. You were listening to, this is not right for me, this is right for me, and this could be a solution for them. And if they don't meet them, then that's okay. You don't have to people please,
Yeah.
and you don't have to actually apologize
Mm.
because you're not doing anything wrong.
Hmm.
You're doing something that's actually right for you, but you're also trying to meet them halfway. So at any point after that, when you decided that was your decision, that you were happy to meet them halfway, at any point did you feel that you wanted to people please, or that you wanted to step over that boundary, that you wanted to let that down a little bit?
Yeah, I did for a little bit there, but then I realized, oh no, I'm actually going against what I feel. Yeah, so it
Um,
was like I can't do that because it's going to react in my body some sort of way, and
yeah,
yeah, and whatever's unsaid, I'm going to have to deal with at some point. So
you did
yeah,
it. Well done. It's
did it.
amazing.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
And then you probably thought, as soon as you got that pushback, you probably thought, oh fuck, what did I do now? Right?
yeah. Or what do I do now? Yeah, that's what
Yes.
I was like, oh no, here we go.
Okay. So tell me about that. So how you felt and how you responded.
So I felt angry. I felt disappointed. I felt like, oh, I'm back in this phase again because I had this really bad narcissistic boss, like the actual narcissistic boss, um, who would mess with my cars when I was a mechanic. He would mess with my cars and like get me to trapped places, and it was just really awful. And then I thought, oh God, why am I attracting this again? Yeah.
Of course you would be feeling like you're going backwards. But remember, there's the two steps forward and the one step back. But as long as you're still moving forward, this is a good thing because it's a test.
Mm,
You're making a change, and every time you make a change, there's going to be some kind of pushback, and it's either from somebody else or from your own ego that's going to freak out
mm,
and go, what am I doing here? Look
mm-hmm,
what happens when you put down your boundaries. Look what happens when you say this is what you want. Bad shit
mm.
happens. But the fact is, you stood your ground, right? What did you do? Because how were you
I
feeling? How were you feeling in your body? Were
I
you
was
still
feeling
feeling
like
like it was right?
it felt like
Was it still feeling like the right thing to
yeah.
do, though? Did you sit with it?
Yeah, yep. And then how I reacted afterwards was I sat with it and I replayed all sorts of things in my head and I looked at different solutions. And then I thought, am I going to just put a camera up? Am I going to address this? And then I thought, I'm just going to stand in my authenticity and just ask them if it was them or if they seen anything and just get the air cleared. Yeah.
Beautiful. What did and
Yeah.
what happened from that?
So I saw the lady in the laundry, and then I just said, "Hey, something happened to my car battery last week, and I'm just wondering, do you know anything about it, or was it you?" And then the reaction was like, "Oh no, is that why the energy's been a bit weird between us?" And she was like, "I've got anxiety, but I don't do crazy stuff like that." I was like, "Okay, okay, sweet."
And how did that feel for you?
I still felt like I was kind of analyzing what she was saying, like I was analyzing the body language. I was kind of like, but I was also accepting it at face value and just going, okay, because we don't do stuff like that in this house. Everyone needs to feel safe. This is a place of healing, and yeah,
I love that, honey.
Yeah.
So, did you talk to anybody else in the house?
I just talked to my other flatmate and just we just discussed how it couldn't come off by itself, and yeah, because she's a good friend of mine, the other one. Yeah.
Okay, so the end of the day, you don't actually know who did it.
I don't know, but it was just funny timing that it was like the day after this happened, and then yeah, and it kind of just came off by itself. Yeah.
So, what would the past you have done in that situation?
Probably just gone in all fire blazing. or or another part of it would have been I would have told myself that I was crazy for thinking that, and um just did nothing.
Okay. So, how do you like the new Holly?
Yeah, it's good.
How does it
It's
feel?
it feels like authenticity. Yeah.
And how are you feeling about it now? Because actually, there's been no resolution, has there?
No, there's been no resolution, but I feel like it's a bit awkward when I see them now in the house. But I'm just writing that out. Like, yeah, yeah,
So, if you were to ask your soul, what would be the right thing to do going forward for this, so that there wasn't that awkwardness? What would you do?
okay, let's ask my soul. Okay, what would I
Yeah.
do to move forward from this without the awkwardness? Have a chat. Just have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how instant that is for you?
Yeah.
You didn't even have to go into anything. You just said, what's the right thing to do? And
Yeah.
instantly. And that's exactly what I felt as well.
Yeah. Just have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if this, at the end of the day, even if this was her, even if she did do that, you still want closure. There's not that closure.
Yeah.
And a big part of closure, closure is basically about acceptance. It's
Mm-hmm.
about accepting what is, right? And this is what we talk about a lot, is accepting that this was just an experience for you to learn how to respond in a way that's going to be more authentic to you in the future, so that every time, any time there's something like this pops up, that you're able to sit with yourself and say, what is the best way to respond here?
Mm.
Rather than reacting straight away, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and sitting with what is a boundary that I want to stand by, and if there's going to be pushback, how do I respond to this? So you're
Right.
doing something really different to what you would have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are responding in the best way for your soul, and you know exactly what to do. Like, as soon as you ask your soul, what's the best thing to do right now, you get the instant response.
Mm-hmm.
And that instant response, what does that bring for you? What feeling do you get from that?
From the feeling of having a chat, or
Yeah, yeah. So how
um,
does that feel for you?
feels good. It feels like there will be resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it feel peaceful?
Peaceful. Yeah.
Because that's the thing with your soul. Whenever you know that it's a response from your soul, it will always feel peaceful.
Mm.
You
Okay.
will always have a feeling of peace. There won't be anxiety, there won't be anger, there won't be sadness, there won't be frustration, there won't be any negative feelings. It will be a feeling of peace or calm every
Mm.
time.
Okay.
That's when you know it's your soul. And so that's what you want to follow, because that feeling of peace and calm, you're going to feel it in your body too.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to feel any angst. So I just love this, Holly. Thank you so much for sharing, honey. And you did this even without me or anyone else coming back to you saying this is what you should do.
Mm.
there was a reason why we didn't come back to you
Yeah.
because you needed to work this one through yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you did it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that now?
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. I'm proud of myself.
Absolutely, honey. Should be proud of yourself. That was amazing.
Hmm.
You took a massive step right then, and you probably don't feel like you did. But like the more that you sit with yourself, the more that you listen to yourself, the more that you ask yourself what's the best way forward, the easier it's going to become. Sure, you're still going to have moments and you're going to be tested. So this was a test, what you just got, and you're
Mm.
still going to get tested, but you're going to get better and better and better, and it's going to be easier and easier for you going forward. And you'll still get triggered, but you'll get to the point where this happens to me all the time, where I'm like, oh, it didn't even trigger me.
Mm.
That thing happened, and that used to trigger me, and it doesn't trigger me anymore.
Mm.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's when you know that you're responding in the way that is right and that you are listening to your soul
Mm.
rather than just reacting in the moment and listening to your mind, right? Because our mind is creating all sorts of thoughts
Mm-hmm.
that are not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well done, honey. That's amazing. And thank you for sharing.
Mm.
So, Marion, you had a bit of a week with your mum, right? You set some boundaries down with your mum. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on holiday with my family, so I didn't see her too much. But you know, I speak to her every day, so we communicate, and yeah, and it was it's the conscious decision to just emotionally, um, not to be absorbed, and to kind of like place that slight detachment between us, so that her quite negative emotions and sort of general negativity about stuff doesn't affect me because I have to speak to her regularly. So yes, I was doing that, and yeah, it was yeah, she had her various things, bits and pieces, and she kind of lost a cat, and then we actually were there and we turned up, we're looking for it, couldn't find it, and then eventually she found it. It was in a cupboard, which she didn't know, and eventually found it, and she was having a huge trauma over this. And I chatted to her about it, and I checked in on her afterwards, what happened, and found, she found the cat, and in a kind of calm way and without getting involved too much. I mean, I'm always calm with her because I have to be, but I didn't feel any kind of too much stress there. So yeah, I think definitely, and like in the task I put down as the spiritual boundaries, my first one is like protecting my energy from people who drain it. And some nice ways of doing that, which is primarily, as we talked about last time, her, I would say, because my kids also give me back a lot while she mostly nowadays, I guess, drains it, I guess. I mean, still my mom and I love her and everything, and but yeah, she is a lot. So yeah, I think it was definitely there wasn't like one particular moment because I was away on holiday and that was really nice. For the first time in a very long time, because I wasn't working, I didn't I actually completely immersed in the here and now. And that's where it was all kind of quite relevant. And then actually, because the biggest drain actually on my emotions was my last job. It was insane. And obviously I left. So that was like good. That was like the solution to that. And I'm
Yeah.
not planning on doing something as draining as like that. And actually, in the exercise and the meditation, what came to me was cutting the cord between myself and the job that I did. Because although I've left it, it was quite bitter, and as an antagonistic process, I very dramatically resigned because it was a bit of a constructive dismissal. They tried to heap blame on me for their problems, and I just denied it. Actually, do you know what? Sorry, as I'm talking, I know we talked about my mum last time, but the real difference, and I can say this, I was quite proud of myself actually, where I placed boundaries. Um, was the way that I reacted in that situation where previously I might have gone, they accused me of stuff. It was lies. It was completely lies. It was like kind of a weird imaginary, like alternate reality. And I calmly just deflected every single accusation and then said, I don't accept this. This is not true. Rather than, I think some years ago would have said, maybe there's some truth in this. Maybe it's me. Maybe, and kind of, opened up that. I think I would have done that. I think I would have done that because someone's like accusing you and you think, oh, there must be some truth to this. But it was so blatantly, it was incorrect. I mean, I take criticism, but this was like crazy. And I just said, no, I don't accept this. And this is why. Oh, no, I don't accept every single point that she made. And then I just quit. And I've never ever like absolutely. They said no, no, reconsider. Don't. No, I can't work here. And I literally quit the next day. Actually, now that I talk about it and remind myself and mentioned that I did the cord cutting with that, it was the first time I did that where I came across a situation like that, and I completely just stood up for myself in every way and pushed back and said no and just cut it off like that. So it was
Wow.
quite, which was actually really cool. It's really
Wow.
cool.
Mm,
Um, it
that
was a real it was
that's
a real
amazing.
learning process for me. Yeah.
That's amazing, Marianne. That's amazing. So when did that happen? How long ago did that happen?
That was in January. So you see, like the wheels of like life have
You've already
turned
started
because
turning them. Yeah.
well, yeah, so what happened was I should have probably quit anyway for about 6 months beforehand because it was insanely stressful. Like every
Yeah.
single second I was being pulled in a billion different directions. Plus I have my own like, personal life stuff as well, demands. And I was constantly felt like I was on the like wafer thin edge of burnout all the time for like
Mm,
the last year before I actually quit. And the thing was, I knew I had to quit, but I didn't. I wanted to kind of quit when I found something new and like on my own terms, but actually I had no energy to find anything else because it took everything from me. And
yeah.
then at the beginning of the year, like over like Christmas when there was like a break and everything, at the beginning of the year, I said that I'm gonna change. I started this like meditation ritual, like a bit of manifestation, but just kind of really focused on changing things. And then this happened, and it was like it was I was really shocked and horrified, but then it also like made me laugh because I was like, hang on, this is like the universe literally kicking my butt to kind of get me out of here because I wasn't leaving otherwise. And so it had to happen because it was so dramatic and sudden. And I kind of went to work. I went, what's going on? And so I kind of feel like I started that process and then, but I was proud of myself for how I kind of met it because I could have, still quit because many years before that, before when I was pregnant with my eldest, she's like 14 and a half now, I had a situation where I was also accused incorrectly at work. I'm sure there's some kind of thought pattern that I was in, and it's to some degree I'm in that kind of like, slightly made this happen, but and I did not handle it that way at all. And I was very much on the back foot and I was like a victim, even though they were in the wrong. And it killed my confidence for years until I kind of built it up again. So it was quite cool to have those two, that parallel. It's a very different situation, but ultimately the similarity was somebody was accusing me of stuff that was like in the workplace that wasn't true and was like connected to other stuff and how I dealt with the two. But anyhow, but I was still kind of quite burned by it because it's not a nice experience. So that's why I did that cord cutting with that. Although I'm over it now. But I felt like it was the right. So when that in during the meditation and the question was think of what scenario, and that was what came to me immediately. I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's cut the cord
Mm,
again with this workplace. So yeah.
that is amazing. But you've actually brought up a really good point, Marion. So, sometimes we can't change the outcome. In fact, often we can't change the outcome. So, like we were talking about Holly before with the resolution for, the awkwardness in her house. Well, there may be no change in that. Even with a conversation, there's still maybe no change. And so we've actually got to come to that closure ourselves. But the fact is, you were talking about two different ways of responding to that situation. Think about the first time that you would have reacted to it in a completely, probably anxious, maybe angry
Yeah.
way, how
Mm.
you felt around that compared to how you felt the second time you responded to it would be completely different feelings in your body, right? Can you
Yeah, it
see
was
that?
it was really it's very interesting because I was still very upset by it because I don't like having lies kind of flung at me at a place where I was trying to
Mm,
do so much to help them. But
yeah.
I was absolutely instinctively, resolutely, no, this is like it
Yeah.
was like a drawbridge coming down. No, there was zero doubt. While I was full of doubt the first like previous 14 years before that,
Yeah.
full of like doubt and questioning myself. This time was like, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolute certainty in my mind, I'm resigning immediately. Like I knew that, and there was no, I just knew the path I had to take. It was really, really like bone deep clear to me, completely intuitively, instinctively clear to me what I had to do. Even though you're right, the outcome technically was the same. I left, and
Yeah.
and I had to leave, and it wasn't that wasn't ideally the way that I wanted to leave, but you know, stuff happens. And but yeah, it was a very different way of coming out of it. I was still very, very hurt by the process because I'd done a lot for them, and ultimately nobody wants like lies flung in your face. But yeah, it was a very I felt like I was more as in control of you know the perception of me and how I was being seen and how I was also handling the situation, and I didn't have that sense of doubt about myself. I was like, no, this is wrong, and I know that I didn't do this. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like a really, so I guess I've been making like moves towards that myself anyway in recent times.
And
But yeah,
despite the fact that you were wronged, you still would have felt more calm in your body the second time because you
absolutely.
knew that that was a clear no that you had to leave. So you
Yes,
still would have
absolutely.
felt more calm than the
Yes,
first time.
definitely. Definitely. It's very, very different. Yeah. And a really
It's a,
deep knowing, as you said, like
yeah,
you know the right thing to do
yeah.
instinctively, even though yes, the emotional bit is hurt, but the calmness of like, no, this is definitely something I have to do. And which I did. And
And
that
that's
was like a
also
really
acceptance.
yeah.
That's also what you're doing is accepting. Well, you're just accepting that this is the way it is, that you may never get a resolution, but right now,
Yeah.
the best resolution for you is to walk away.
Yeah.
So you're accepting that it is the way it is. And what
Yeah.
you can do, you can do what you can do. And there's a certain amount of what you can't do. Well, you can't stand there and argue that you were, that they're lying, that this isn't true,
Mm.
because again, that's not accepting that that's the way it is. And there's nothing that you can do in that situation. And the best thing you can do going forward for you is walking away. And you did it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where your power comes in, ladies. That's where you have every power in every situation, even though, and people say this to me all the time, that things happen to us. No, things don't happen to us. Things happen for us so that we can stand in our power in each situation, so that we can know what is true and authentic to us in each situation. And both of you ladies have shown this in this situation, that you have stood in what is right for you and what feels right for you. You've been listening to that, and that's amazing. You're following that. I love
Mm.
that. I just want, you to celebrate what you've done. It might not feel like a big deal, but it is a big deal. And the more that you're aware of that and everything that comes up for you, the more that you sit with yourself and everything that comes up for you, the easier it's going to become. You'll be professionals before you know it. Exciting, huh? So I love too that you got so much out of the cord cutting, Marion. Did you do that, Holly, as well?
But yeah, I did it with my old boss. The big
Great.
So we both did it for work. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah. Funny, huh?
yeah.
right. So, right. The other thing is that I was going to look at today, is how are you finding your new boundaries? Did you make any different boundaries, and how are you finding using them? Has anything come up for you?
So my boundaries were all like sort of about me. They're boundaries that I need to have with myself.
Right. Do you want to
Yeah,
share?
sure. Um, so what areas do I currently have boundaries in place? Who I let into my life, who is around my daughter, sexual boundaries, when I have capacity to like be there and support my friends, and emotional boundaries in my EMDR. But where I was lacking boundaries was all to do with me. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
So all to do with you and like, your sexual boundaries or your friendships or the people that you come in contact with. Is that what you mean?
No, more like around eating boundaries.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So how are you finding that, Holly?
Well, I only just did my homework like completely 2 days ago, so I'm just on the verge of setting those boundaries, but I just wanted to discuss it as well.
Yep, go for it.
Like so with the eating, like I've noticed that I'm either eating for safety, like from some of the sexual things that have happened, but I also wonder if I'm eating for comfort. And so like I can't remember the last time that I felt hungry inside my body.
Okay. That's a really interesting observation.
Yeah.
Really glad that you've noticed that because that's when you'll know the difference between comfort eating and eating for survival because your body's actually hungry.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you could get into the habit of, and I don't know if you've done this already, where you actually ask, am I actually hungry?
Okay, I'll start doing that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Am I really hungry, or is this for psychological reasons?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that you can do is you can set yourself like a schedule, like a routine. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I first started doing intermittent fasting, I would start eating at midday every day, and that became a routine. And now I just eat in those times without even thinking about it. So
Yeah, right.
it's like setting up a pattern. And I don't know how that works for you. Would that work for you?
Well, I'm breastfeeding, so maybe I do need to have a lot of calories at the moment. But yeah, that could work for me. Yeah.
But I would also become really aware of your thoughts because remember that your thoughts are running the show. Your thoughts have been running the show all your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And often we don't think about it. We just, like you probably find you end up in the pantry or the fridge and you don't even think about it. It's because there's a thought there that's saying, oh, I need to have some food.
Mm-hmm.
So, a really beautiful way to find out what's actually true and what's not true is become aware of your thoughts. So, if you find yourself at the pantry and then you go, oh, hang on a moment, what was that thought?
Okay. Yeah.
Because remember, we don't have to believe our thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just choose to in every moment. So at any time, you can say, that's just a thought.
Mm.
It's actually not true.
Okay,
So
great.
your thought might be telling you that you're starving.
Yeah.
But then you can go, well, am I?
Yeah, yeah.
Is this actually true?
Yeah, cool.
Your thoughts aren't in charge.
Yeah.
Your soul's in charge.
Soul's in charge, yeah. Yeah, thank you. I will put that into action this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your soul is actually your body, right? And your body. So that's why it's really important for us to be noticing how our body is feeling each time these things come up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Great. I love that.
Mm.
So when you say that you've set a boundary around that, what is the boundary around your food exactly?
So the boundary around the food was I just put like a food diary to get curiosity and also consciously eating.
Uh-huh.
Is that really a boundary? It kind of is.
Of course it's a boundary.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
It's being aware. Like a food diary is the same as you being consciously aware, like you consciously eating. It's you being aware of when you're eating and whether you need to eat at
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's not so much when you're eating and am I hungry, then it's how much am I eating and do I need to be eating this much? Or what am I eating and do I need to be eating this? Can I have a healthier alternative? Or, whatever feels right for you.
Yeah.
Remember, this is yours and your boundary for you. So whatever you want to make it, you can make it. And
Cool.
everything is about awareness. Everything.
Cool. So are you saying that a spiritual boundary is the same as a boundary?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The thing is, when we talk about spiritual boundaries, and the reason why I do all this boundary work first before we really delve into spiritual work is because if we are open to everything, then it's going to be really difficult for us to really notice what is ours, what is someone else's, what is the collective, and it's difficult for us to decipher. It also means that often we're more open to overwhelm. So it means because we're taking on so much, we can become easily overwhelmed and we can easily miss things. Whereas if we're aware, if we've got strong boundaries around us for certain things or certain people or certain situations, then when we tap into our practice, we're going to be more fine-tuned to that energy because we have boundaries around things that deplete us or violate us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so everything you're doing is you're becoming aware of yourself. You're becoming aware of the areas where your energy is leaking. You're becoming aware of areas where, you may be too rigid.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. Is there any areas where you feel that you're kind of too tight, that you're not open to change and growth so much? Have either of you noticed that?
For
I think
me,
Setting
most of my
boundaries?
boundaries were about that. Although like Holly, mine were about mostly myself and the rigidity bit. So I put the energy from those who drain it, number one, but the others were all about that I placed the boundaries were all about the rigidity. So if which I think we talked about at the beginning as well. At least I did anyhow, because it is a thing for me. Sort of fear of failure and losing control. And that stops me from doing it and practicing. And attachment to how I should be in this way rather than, and the whole comparison thing that we talked about as well, and not trusting myself. So that's where, again, I think I said in the message about one of the things I was trying to do is so I've got, like, for the things I put down, one was protecting the energy, which we talked about, like from those who might drain it, like bad workplaces or my mum, and the others are about trusting myself, and having that kind of listening to intuition constantly, and also having I actually put to counter my fear of failure, which I have a lot with this, is also having very clear and scheduled, like, practice to sort of end the failure, where to sort of, and it be okay with having kind of meditations or whatever where I don't feel the need to control it, and actually just like seeing where things go, because the lack of control thing is really, really important. And so that's where I was. So I haven't quite done that like you, Holly. I also just wrote. I only did it, I think, on Thursday as well. So I didn't. I've been trying to do it, but I've been sort of trying to mainstream it just in kind of like trusting my intuition and just going with it and just following, like all the various bits and pieces. And there's been like little bits of evidence coming back to show that it was a good thing to do. So that's kind of like been reinforcing it, which is good. Yeah, so those are minor around my lack of fear of failure and lack of trust. So
Right. So brilliant. I love this, Marion. And so I just have a question for you around that. When those feelings come up, or when those thoughts come up, what are you doing in the moment?
so for the moment, I am I'm trying to kind of, I think there was, you also talked about in the lesson about having like little mantras and like trying to reiterate a lot, thinking a lot in a just in a kind of positive way and kind of telling yourself that it's something that you're doing and that it's real and that you can do it. And that's what like this course is really good because I'm waiting and expecting for us to have a chat and I'm doing my like homework in between and I'm like that expectation thing is makes a live process the whole time and makes me able to be thinking about it and thinking, no, I can do this, I can definitely do this. So it's kind of the constant trying to reassure myself and crucially the trusting the intuition and seeing the evidence back. Because when I was doing development in a circle, and I almost certainly was given this because I needed it, if that makes sense. But I was always doing little like practice things, silly things just to show myself evidence. Oh, it's real, it's real. Like it's like stupid stuff, like being in a traffic jam and seeing like I remember that after I came back from one circle and I was in traffic jam, it was really boring, and I was waiting, and there was like a lorry in front of me, and they had a um and there was like an address, but I didn't recognize where it was, and then I just suddenly thought to myself, I saw the word um like Wales, which is like a country in the, you
Yes,
probably know this, but
yes.
it's not like it's a country in the UK, but it's like small, and then I looked again. I thought, does it say Wales? It didn't say Wales. I don't know every like town in Wales. I don't know. I wouldn't know just from an address like where it was. And I thought, is it? And I'm like bored in a traffic jam. So I get out my phone and I start looking up, where is this? And the HQ of this company is in Wales. I was like, yes. Like I needed to have that kind of stuff because I used to have like stuff popping out. Like I thought I read it. I often have words coming out where they aren't there. And I think I see it and then it's gone. And that's like just, stuff like that. That kind of affirmation stuff is quite helps me when I'm trying to build trust. So it wasn't quite that because it was a bit different, but it was stuff happened because positive positive comeback because I had like followed my intuition. Like for instance, taking a book with us for my 6-year-old to read, and he up till then refused to read by himself. And I'd taken other books already, packed it in the suitcase, and I just looked and I thought, I should take this book. Fine, I went with it. He took that book and read the entire thing on holiday by himself, and that was like a real huge departure for him to do. So he wasn't going to do that before. And I was like, I see. So I did take the right book because I was drawn to it. So stuff like that
You're
is
listening to
has gone so
yourself.
far.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Well, this is really beautiful, Marion. I'm really pleased you're getting this. I just want to remind you too that so when what you're doing is great, but just remember too, when those feelings or those thoughts come up, what those thoughts will bring is those thoughts will always bring emotion, right? The emotion will come with the thoughts. So
Yeah.
you want to remember that that's energy that's wanting to be released. So
Okay.
it's still remembering to sit with that and asking what actually is this thought? What does it really mean? What is it really telling me? You want to get the underlying feeling, the underlying
Okay.
emotion of it, and just acknowledging it. That's all you're doing. You don't have to, cry, or if you feel like crying, go for it. If you feel like you want to go outside and scream, scream. But it's really just acknowledging, I see the thought and I feel the feeling. I get that, allowing it to come up. And then when it's gone, then use those mantras. So it's allowing it to release
Yeah.
first, then using the mantras. Because sometimes if we use the mantras too soon, we're
Yeah.
still suppressing the emotion in a way. And so we want to also remember to keep allowing that emotion to come up and be released. Because the more that you do that, the less it's going to come up. You're not going to notice it the same. It's not going to push you down. It's not going to hold you back the same. It's not going to come up the same. It's like when I talk about triggers, it's
Yeah.
essentially a trigger. And every trigger that we have is an opportunity for that energy to be released. And so you'll find that over time, the things that used to trigger you won't trigger you. That's because you're allowing it to be released every time it comes up. So the emotion around, why you've been closed off, why you've closed your heart off all these years, that's a huge one for you. And you'll probably find this will come up a lot. And there'll
Mm.
be different scenarios where it's going to come up for you. And it's being courageous in that moment to actually feel it, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
and then put a statement behind it. Like, I'm learning to open my heart. I'm learning to trust my intuition. I'm learning to trust my soul. Yeah,
Okay.
beautiful statements. But I just want to acknowledge you for what you're doing, the work that you're doing, because when we first had that conversation, I think it was the introduction call,
Yeah.
that was huge for you. And look at
Yeah,
you
it's
now,
true.
right? You're
Yeah.
really starting to learn to trust yourself. It's not easy to do when you haven't done it for so long. So well done. It's amazing. Holly, how about you, honey? Have you had anything that's come up that's been too rigid?
Probably just around romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a piece of my heart, like Marianne was just saying, is like a little bit shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like trust is huge for me as well. Yeah.
I can actually really relate to this one, ladies, because I was hurt, a, a lot in my last relationship. And it took me a long time. I had closed my heart off as well. Thought, nah, I'm not going to get hurt again. So I'm not going to open it up again. And so I've learned to be open to that. And the best way to do this, and this is this very similar to being in the present moment, but it's going back to the past. So in the present, if you come across if you are shown an opportunity where you can open your heart and you instantly feel like, oh no, it's far too scary, I can't do that. Go into the feeling. Why is it I'm feeling like this? It'll probably take you back to the past, right? Which it always did for me. And then tell yourself, remember, it's just an experience. That was just an experience. So you're reminding yourself that what you've been through was just an experience for you to be at this moment right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that you're doing and every opportunity that comes up for you, every trigger that comes up for you is always an experience for you to be more of who you truly are. So that experience that you had that shut your heart down to start with, it actually had nothing to do with shutting your heart. It had to do with probably something completely different to teach you. But it's just in the process we shut the heart down because it hurts so much, right? So remember, this was just an experience, and this is how you responded. This is how your ego responded. It told you to shut your heart down so that you'd survive. So this is just an experience. So we're doing the same thing every time. We're allowing that energy to come up and be released. And then we're reminding ourselves it's just an experience. And every time this comes up again, it's just a thought. This is the thing, we give our mind and our ego mind far too much power. And our mind doesn't have any power. It's got no right to have any power for a start because it doesn't have the wisdom. Your soul has been around. Your soul is the only immortal part of you. And it's been around many, many, many lifetimes. It's got its wisdom. Your mind has been here in this one lifetime. It doesn't have the wisdom of who you are, of your soul's evolution. It only knows the experience that you've had since you were born into this body. That's it. So where's the wisdom? And remember, when you were born into this body, your psyche was created from your parents' values and beliefs.
Yeah.
It's actually not who you are. So your soul knows who you are. So give your soul the steering wheel. Don't allow your mind to tell you who you are and tell you how you should respond to certain things. So it was big today, ladies. Well done. big session. And look at you growing already. It's amazing. I love it. This is my favorite part of doing these courses is watching you all growing. How are you feeling? How are you both feeling today? Now, like where we're at. I mean, we're only what, third lesson in, but how are you feeling so far?
Feeling good. Feeling like it's like clarification.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
feel it feels like a good foundation. I
Mm.
don't think I expected it like to start this way, so it's been eye-opening and it's been important to think about all of the, as you said, the barriers. So yeah,
Yeah.
but feeling good as well.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, a lot of my students say the same thing. They don't expect to start out with this stuff. They just start expecting just to jump straight into the practice.
Yeah.
But I've got it. This kind of shaves years and years off your development, just doing this basic work. Crazy as it sounds, but it does, because it can take us a long time to work through a lot of those fears that we have and the limiting stories we tell ourselves and all of that. It just cuts it right off. So you're doing amazing, ladies. So we can finish up now. Let's just finish with some 3 deep breaths. Pop your hand on your heart, close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths in. And as you breathe in how you're feeling right now. Feeling grounded, feeling strong in your boundaries. And then release what you no longer need on your out breath. And remember that everything that you are learning right now is baby steps. We're not running, we're walking. Peace. I'll see you next week. Now, hopefully, we can do a little bit earlier for Marion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow. I should be okay.
Thank you, darling.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
okay.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies. Amazing session. You did really well.
Thanks, Tanya. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Marianne.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.